I am going to talk to you about China. Not all of Asia, that's a really big area to cover. So today, this afternoon, we only have 15 minutes. So it's only going to be China, which normally would take like 15 hours, but you know, we do what we can. So a little bit about myself, just to give you a bit of background. I have been involved with Chinese outbound tourism for more than 20 years. I started my life doing kind of operations and sales and business development. Spent several years living in China. I speak Chinese, and I did a lot of development there on wholesale travel for outbound, specifically on FIT market. And for the last 12 years, I've been consulting and doing market entry, working with destinations around the world. This year, I've joined hands with Dragon Trail, which is an established digital marketing agency and a leader in the sector. So really focused on outbound travel from China, working with tourism boards, hotel chains, travel companies, airlines, cruise lines. You get the picture. So there's a lot of expertise and knowledge and experience, specifically on campaigns and platforms that are dedicated to selling travel to the Chinese. Now, we work with a range of customers. The defining feature is that they all do travel and hospitality. And we have offices in Beijing, Shanghai, and Xi'an, and I'm based in our London office. And we will also be opening a USA office next year. So today, we'll talk about the market, a bit of a market overview on Chinese outbound travel and the digital marketing platforms that are the most effective, the most used to promote travel and to sell travel. And if we have time, we'll go through some case studies, but I also want to get your questions. So, the market itself is very big. 1 out of 10 international travelers today is Chinese. The growth that you see here of under 3% in 2016 to 136 million may not look very impressive. But what's important to understand is that this is overall growth to all outbound destinations, including what we term as Greater China. So Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, which historically would be about 70% of the outbound trips. But last year was under 50% of outbound trips. And growth to long-haul markets, anything aside from those in Greater China, has grown by double digits, by 10%. So for us in Europe, that's still very good news and still very robust and healthy growth and still one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest, in the world. So before I proceed further, I'm going to have a little competition here. And if you guess the question correct, you get to win one of these books about the Chinese outbound travel market. So the first question I have is, how many active users are there on WeChat? The closest person to the right number will win. So how many active users? Raise your hand if you know. 190 million? Where else? 1 million? 1.2 billion? 300 million? 800 million? 500? 1.3 billion? All right, so the answer is 963 million, closer probably to 1 billion now, and that would include private and public accounts. So you probably will be the closest one. There you go.
Thank you very much.
And next question is, how many hours do people on average spend on mobile in China? How many hours per day on mobile? Who wants to take a guess? Yes. 2.5 hours. 7, 10, 6. Okay. You can do half hour. You can also do 2 halves, 2.5 hours. So, okay. Any more guesses? No. Okay. So it's 6.5. I think you get to win that one. Oops. That was the clock, so now I don't know how much time has passed, so sorry. Okay, so now 6.5 hours, whereas the global average is 5 hours. So again, mobile first. That is the, if you take anything out of here, is mobile and WeChat are the two things you need to take away from this talk. People in China also spend a lot of money buying things and doing m-commerce, okay? So definitely outstripping the USA when it comes to how much they spend on mobile. And out of all these consumers, the millennials are really driving outbound travel now and mobile at the same time. So 60% of outbound travelers are millennials, and they very much see their identity as connected to travel. So traveling, gathering experience, learning about the world, being kind of international has become part of their essence. And that's really important to understand because it's so different from their parents and the previous generation. Now, they tend to go more for online travel. So there's a lot of business still in traditional travel. We're not really going to be discussing that today because we're focusing on digital. So when it comes to millennials, they will go to these platforms. So the biggest OTA is Ctrip. And then you've got companies like Qunar, like Elong, like Tunio, as well as some international companies that are doing relatively well in China. They're definitely not anywhere near the size of the Chinese companies, but when it comes to international travel, long haul, international hotels and flights, then the likes of Skyscanner or Tianchun in Chinese, which is now owned by Ctrip, or indeed Agoda and Booking are doing quite well because they've localized to a very large extent. Also, what's popular in China are review sites. And again, it's not TripAdvisor. They're not very big in China. They exist, but they're not considered that big. But you have Chongyou, you have Dianping, you have Mafengwo. Some of them are only focused on international and outbound. Some are totally just about travel. But people really trust reviews written by other Chinese. So they go to these review sites to get inspiration, to figure out and copy itineraries and learn how to travel and where to go. And they also like to share. So they're sharing a lot. And they basically would use mobile and social media to share with their friends and with the network everything they do. And through pictures, through sound, through video, through text. The most popular platform for sharing is WeChat, followed by Weibo, travel sites, so the travel forums, and travel review sites. Now, the digital marketing platforms that our clients in the travel industry use tend to fall into several categories. So the search, there's no Google, so it's Baidu. And if you're using Baidu as a platform for SEM, it's important to understand it's not as transparent and easy to use as Google. So it's very hard to do it yourself. You need to use an agency to manage the budget for you. And in many cases, agencies pre-buy and bulk buy search words and search phrases, and you'll get better deals from them than you do if you went directly to Baidu. So unless you're spending millions on advertising, you'll need to go through an agency. And with Baidu, the way that it works they often give preference to their own platforms. There's Baidu Wiki, kind of travel wiki, Baidu Brand Zone, Baidu Q&A, forum, and all those get much higher search results in organic. So to be able to support your results appearing on the first page, it's not only that you need to do a lot of localization and SEO work, you need to be hosted in China, you have to have a .cn domain, and then you also need to spend on SEM. That's kind of part of the package, as well as basically ensuring that your content is included in Baidu's own platforms. So localization will become very important. Partly is to make sure that you are properly crawled in Baidu, but also to match the expectations and the user sensibilities of Chinese web citizens. Okay, so the Chinese netizens like imagery, they like video. They don't like to read a lot of text. They don't like to search a lot. They don't like to type. So, navigating through, say, a search box where you have to type your question or what you're looking for doesn't really work well. So they are used to having very long home pages with lots of links and things like that. But when we work with our clients, we need to always match the design approach of their global sites with what works in China and find a happy medium. And these are some examples, say, with Peru, where, again, the focus is very much on mobile and different size screens that are not a PC. Because Chinese use different size mobile screens, some of them very large, tablets, and it has to work with all of them. So oftentimes, this is basically mobile-first design that also works on PC. Making sure that any heavy images and videos are hosted in China, otherwise it'll take too long to load and will just time out. Right, we've come to WeChat. So WeChat is by far the most popular social media network in China. It's mobile only for the user. As an advertiser or as a customer service provider, basically if you have a public account, you do have a PC-based interface to manage customer service and things like that. But for the user, it's mobile only. And although they have a web interface like WhatsApp has, where you can basically scan a QR code, log into the laptop, and also text through there. The point is that that's only for text. All the other functionalities of sharing your experiences, of reading what your friends are doing, of basically following public accounts of companies and serving advertising really works only on mobile. Okay? So WeChat has combined the functionalities that we tend to use maybe 5 up to 10 different apps for, including payment, including lifestyle management, ordering taxis, unlocking city bikes, doing your dry cleaning, paying at restaurants, paying your utility bills, et cetera, and the opportunities for advertisers is that you are serving ads either on other popular accounts that you tend to follow, or on their moments, which is like the Facebook wall, where they see all of their friends kind of sharing information and sharing experiences, et cetera. And you can then direct people from your ad to your official account on WeChat, which allows you to have different kind of static information pages through a navigation tab at the bottom. So in a way, it acts like a mini mobile site. And you can build into that different functionalities and interfaces, including booking sites, checking in, directories, maps for navigation, you name it. You can use HTML5 and the API from WeChat to also take advantage of the information that WeChat already has about the user, including they can pay, and you can get demographic information, etc. So it's really useful not just to get kind of loyalty and followers, but also it's very easy for people to then share the information that you serve up to them with their wider network on WeChat. And you can track also customers through purchasing and loyalty programs and kind of post-sales customer service. So we tend to see that in the travel industry, there's B2B usage and there's B2C usage of WeChat. So B2C is straightforward. We just discussed it, with basically all millennials on smartphones, all millennials on WeChat, and 60% of travelers are millennials. It makes perfect sense to use WeChat to connect with them. On the B2B, it's also very important because all the travel agencies are also on WeChat. And they can then also share packages and offers directly with all their customers who are also on WeChat. And they do it through groups that they set up. You can group your customers on the B2B as well and communicate directly with them, as well as having an official account that people can follow. You can serve them PDF or HTML5 brochures and interactive games, special offers. You can send them coupons that they can save in their WeChat wallet for usage later, for discounts, etc. So there's a lot of things that you can do. And you can also develop various kind of custom interfaces like a directory that they can search through suppliers in the city or in the country, as well as what we do for destinations at kind of national tourism board level is creating an e-learning platform that the travel agents in China log in and can basically learn how to sell your destination. And that can work for destination, can work for an airline or a cruise line or anything where travel agents need to be trained up. And they do it in their own time, and they commute to and from the office. They prefer that kind of mobile interface over a PC interface, which limits them to the office, where they often are too busy to do this kind of enrichment and education. Even though WeChat is definitely really important, it's also becoming increasingly expensive because it has so much data and so many of the customers. So other platforms are still relevant. Weibo is older than WeChat. It has lost ground, but it's still relevant because it focuses now on live streaming and short video, which are very popular platforms for inspiration, for brand awareness. So definitely something to look at, and it's kind of easier to work with them. It's a more open platform compared to WeChat. But there are many others on the long tail that that might be relevant for you. Some of them, like Nice, is Instagram clone that focuses on travel and allows to kind of tag the posts with different brands and hashtags in the picture, which can lead people to advertising or to monetization. And the key thing is that all these apps, whether they're about content and news, whether it's about video, whether it's about images, they all have millions, hundreds of millions of followers, even if they're considered not a very big app. And that's the thing about the scale in China that's important to keep in mind. So there are a few examples of case studies of campaigns. I don't really have time to go through all of it today, but I do want to open the floor for questions. And I also want to show you a quick video about FIT travel and about millennials that I think you'll be interested to, that will give you a bit more insight. And after that, we can take some questions. And this presentation with the case studies will be available to download following the conference. So we've launched this video series with short educational videos that will be coming out every 2 weeks called China Outbound Travel Pulse. The first one that we launched at World Travel Market was about the FIT travelers. So let's have a quick look.
这次是去美国华盛顿，然后自由行这一块主要是觉得出去还是比较方便一点。
我这次去泰国跟朋友一块去，好像要待7天6晚。现在国跟国的互通，落地签也比较方便了，不像以前要到大使馆去签证特别麻烦。
我们这一次主要是去美国的西海岸。计划的就是和家人和朋友一起去旅行，自由行，很方便，可以自己租车，自己想去所有，就是说，没有很多游人的地方。
一直都是我们一家3口去选择自由行的这种出行方式去旅游，然后这次的目的地是大阪，然后大概行程是10天左右。因为什么选择自由行这种出行方式呢？可能一是比较放松，二是对这个目的地有一个比较详细的一个规划。
其实自由行比跟团贵一点吧，但是自己想玩什么玩什么。
有去马尔代夫、去泰国，然后这些国家都是自由行走的。如果去岛屿国家，我会选择自由行。因为只在一个地方，然后休闲度假，然后在海滩上很放松心情这样。
这是去旧金山，然后从旧金山进美国，然后从纽约出来自驾。然后我和我的朋友比较喜欢开车，然后美国开车也比较舒服，油比较便宜，几乎没有高速费。
自由行可能就是比较自由一点吧，而且有些旅游公司所设定的路线并不是我都想去的地方。
一般就是通过旅行社的朋友，然后规划一下行程，然后再通过携程啊、Booking 啊，然后再去定。
然后一开始可能是通过穷游也好、买蜂窝也好这些旅游类的网站，然后比如说这些订票类的 APP 这种东西。
酒店还没有订，就是先订的京都的 Airbnb。对，一般是因为我在英国上学，一般都是用 Google 去搜那些行程啊那些东西。
行程是由我太太她来安排，然后一般要去国外订酒店，在 Booking 上订就可以了。携程也会订，然后只能是对比一下、比较一下。
可能从哪里看到的都有，马蜂窝的也有，然后百度的也有，携程的也有，途牛啊这些都有用过，对。
Chinese tourists abroad are often associated with a tour group, jumping off a coach to take a selfie in front of a major site, and jumping back on the bus to rush to the next attraction or shopping mall. But traveling as part of a group is no longer seen as prestigious in China. Online bookings, multiple entry visas for many destinations, and higher disposable income all support the fast growth of independent travel, especially among affluent consumers. So FITs are responsible for almost all the increase in the number of Chinese outbound trips in 2017, while the package tour market is stagnating or decreasing in many destinations. As we've heard from the interviews, Chinese FITs travel on their own because of the freedom to decide where to go and for how long, to escape large groups of Chinese tourists, as it is easier to get a visa without the help of a tour operator, and many countries offer multiple entry visas or visa-free entry. And lastly, they have gained confidence from previous travel experiences or are familiar with the destination. According to Forward Keys, in July and August 2017, more than one-third of all Chinese outbound FIT arrivals by plane went to Japan, Thailand, or the US. The countries which recorded the fastest growing arrival numbers of FITs compared to last summer were Canada, Australia, the United Arab Emirates, Malaysia, the Czech Republic, and Spain. For South Korea and Taiwan, most arrivals from mainland China were FITs. China is different. That's also true for FITs. In Western countries, independent travel is particularly embraced by money-conscious travelers. In China, it is the upper end of the market which is more likely to be an FIT. Remember, Chinese outbound travelers are time poor, not money poor.
Anyway, so that's also on YouTube, or you can follow Dragon Trail on Twitter to get updates on new topics. We're really out of time. Is there any one last question or 1, 2 questions I can take? Yes. They chat a lot with their friends. They plan their trips. They play games. They read news and gossips. They live on their phone. Yeah. Sorry? One thing is commute. Usually in the big cities where most millennials are and can take 1 to 2 hours to commute to the office, and they're stuck in traffic. There's nothing else to do. And in many places, they basically, their primary source of internet is the phone. They don't have a computer at home. They only have the phone. So they also watch films on it and stream music and film. Any more questions? Let's see. All right. Thank you very much.